Good afternoon. It is 1 p.m. on Monday the 21st of December 2020. My name is Arran Hunt, from partner here at Stace Hammond. I head up the Migration Partners team. As always, this should not be taken as being legal advice. It's rather our view on immigration in New Zealand. If you're looking for legal advice, get in contact, send us an email and we'll see if we can help out. Now, we are going to be working through the Christmas holidays, or at least I will be. So if you need any help during that period, let us know. Now, first of all, thank you for the lovely messages that a number of you posted on Saturday's video. I am now engaged. She did say yes, and a few of your comments actually really did make me smile. One or two in particular were really nice to receive amongst all the others, and really did stand out, so thank you very much for that. We have 5 massive pieces of news from Immigration New Zealand that have come through today. This will apply to a number of you, those of you who are onshore in particular. And it's worth getting out today. I wasn't planning on video on today, but these are rather large. So we'll get into them. So first, we mentioned on Saturday that we had received we call it a Friday special email, which is that sort of email that comes at the end of the day, so you can't do much about it. And that email let us know that another email is going to be coming through that would apply to all temporary entry visa holders. Well, these emails have started coming through late this morning, and we now have an email box filled with them to send on to our clients. At the time it wasn't too clear as to what they were going to be about, and even now actually we're waiting to receive, to look for a press release from the Beehive or something in the Gazette for more details, but basically all we've got is what's on the website and what's in the email. Now we'll put the description in the text in the description box below so you see what it says, and we'll give a link to the changes on the immigration website that relate to this. What it essentially is that every temporary entry visa granted on the March 18th, 2020 or previously now includes a condition where you must follow the COVID-19 rules. Now, these rules are any order made under the Section 11 of the COVID-19 Public Health Response Act, any order under Section 70 of the Health Act 1956, and this is in the Schedule 2 of the previous Act, and any instruction from a medical officer of health which relates to a notifiable or quarantinable disease. So basically what it means, anything to do with COVID-19, if it's a requirement under the law, you must follow it. Now, as with all visa conditions, if you breach any of these conditions, you may be liable for deportation. So it's basically the change is that you must follow these requirements. If not, you can be deported and your visa can be cancelled. It also relates to any Australian citizens who have gained residence in New Zealand on arrival. This also applies to you as well, not just to all the temporary entry visa holders, but also to you. Now, it only applies to those from 18th of March or previously who had visas granted on those days. Now, 18th of March was the day that we moved to level 3 in New Zealand, a week before the big lockdown, level 4. We're looking to try to confirm that all visas since that date already have this condition. Most likely they do. We're looking through the legislation, looking through the Gazette to try and find why that date. But I think go on the work on the rules, that will follow the rules, otherwise you might risk your visa. Whether you arrive before or after 18th of March, I think this is generally going to apply to everyone. Okay, second big bit of news relates to any employer-assisted work visa holder, basically being essential skills, work to residence or things like that, but a number of others. Basically, if you have your employer listed on your visa, it generally relates to you. And if your visa was due to expire between 1 January 2021 and 13th of June 2021, then you just got a further 6-month visa extension. If you're a partner or a dependent child to any of these people, and your visa is typically tied to their visa expiry, you also just got a 6-month visa extension. For many of you, this could actually be a second or a third extension, so they keep on granting these extensions, which is great for you. Now, there is an issue to these. The visa states that visa holders will receive confirmation of the extension by Immigration New Zealand by March 2021. Of course, these take into effect from 1st of January. However, we have an issue with this from the previous extension that came through a few months ago. Now, when that took place, the actual visas were only officially extended at some point afterwards. So there was a period there where we had clients which called to immigration and go, we have this client, the visa has expired, and they'd say to us, yes, well, officially it's expired, but unofficially they've been granted an extension, or they're going to be granted an extension, not to worry about it. the problem came through later on that Immigration New Zealand stated that during this period they were technically in New Zealand without a visa and weren't allowed to work. This became an issue when we had clients who were applying for residency, and the residency wasn't being processed because they were here officially unlawfully. Once the extension finally came through, residency went through, not an issue. So we have a precedence here where if this extension doesn't come through or isn't applied to their visa, then technically you're unlawful and technically you're breaking the rules by working. So we're going to try and get some clarification from Immigration New Zealand on this, because all we have to go by is precedence, and the precedence they set with the last one was if you don't have the extension yet, you shouldn't work. Now if these come through January 1st, they notify you in March, there's a few months there where technically speaking you shouldn't be working, which sort of ruins the whole point of the extension. So we'll try and get the clarification there and let you know what they say. The next update, the next bit of news is that it's for those who are on the lower paid essential skills visas, so those are basically the 1 year or now 6 month visas, where typically there was that 3 year stand down period. So if you do 3 years on these, the lower skilled they called them previously, or now they're below median wage visas, if you did 3 years on those, there was a 1 year stand down period to leave the country for a year before you get the next visa. The stand down period entry start point has now been delayed until January 2022, meaning that people on those visas can keep working in New Zealand without needing to leave the country. You must still of course get new visas to remain in New Zealand, so this is not an extension of your visa by a year. It's basically just a deferral of that need to leave the country after 3 years. So if that is you, then apply for your new visas. They're only lasting 6 months now, unfortunately, so you can get that wage up to your 3 year visa. It'll be much easier for you. But you don't have to leave the country after that 3 year point and do a year overseas. You have got until January 2022 now. Next up, we have all of those who are on working holiday visas. Well, who most of you, they're due to expire between today and 30th of June 2021. So working holiday visa, come to New Zealand, spend a year or two here working for those under a certain age, you are now getting an extra 6 months extension to that visa. They originally talked about moving all those people across to a supplementary seasonal employer visa, allow them to work in horticulture or viviculture. They have now stopped that for those who haven't yet moved across. So if your visa expired today or between today and 30th of June, today being 21st of December, then you now have an extra 6 months on your previous visa, on the working holiday visa, allowing you to continue to work and generate any employment. Any time limit on working for one employer no longer applies. That's sort of, it was like 3 months, you had one employer on, or 6 months, that no longer applies, but you still cannot take on permanent employment. It must still be a fixed period or just for a certain role. It can't be a permanent role. Now, if you have already received the SSC visa, so your work holiday visa has already expired and they've granted you the SSC visa, then you will remain on that SS visa, or you can apply for an essential skills work visa to work in another role. So if you've already transferred across the SSC, you don't go back to working holiday visa. You've already moved across, that visa is now ended. So you keep working on that horticultural, agricultural field, or the option to work there. If you want to work somewhere else, apply for essential skills work visa. Finally, and one of the big ones, the median wage of $25.50 will remain until July 2021. At that point, it will raise to $27 as we expected. Now, we've stated previously, and Immigration New Zealand have now acknowledged that the big increase in the median wage, of that $1.50 increase, was due to people who had lost their roles during the lockdown, were generally at the lower end of the market, which basically pushes the median wage up. So for this reason, they've delayed the increase of the median wage, which of course is required for essential skills work visas and for skilled migrants, things like that, until July 2021. So it's great to have some clarity there now. And that is it for now. Let's got an email through. Is this important? So just to clarify, sorry, I will go one of our staff here. has confirmed that there was new conditions brought through on the 18th of March, that all temporary work visa holders from that point onwards were required to comply with instructions of a medical officer of health, which relates to a notifiable and questionable or quarantinable disease, including any requirements to self-isolate. So as to that first point of news we had there, this was actually put into place on the 18th of March for any new visas being granted. So this new change now applies to those who had visas from that date and earlier. So that is why we have the difference. She has just confirmed that. So that is it for today. Sorry, short, quick video. Very busy time of the year. I have a lot of work to get through. We'll be back if anything new comes through in the next few days, in the next few weeks. Until then, kia kaha, stay safe.